My name's Scott Johnson, I'm 33 and I'm a football coach. The Proper Blokes Club is a small community project that I've started up in Southwark. It's a walk and talk group for men to talk about mental health and trying to break the stigma of mental health. I think what men tend to do is just put stuff into the back of their mind constantly, or put it on their back and just like a big rucksack, and then eventually that gets full and then they're going to fall. And I think having a group like this and having people to talk to, it don't necessarily solve the problems, but it allows you to talk about the issues you have and sort of release that little bit of pressure each time. From personal experience, it probably started around sort of 9 years ago. With access to my little ones, that led on to financial issues and job issues and stuff like that, and eventually all them sort of just came in as one, and it just became a big problem trying to function in everyday life, and it got to a point where I needed to admit that there was an issue, and then I done what everyone should do once they've got that issue or realise they've got the issue, is reach out to professionals to try and get some support. I felt throughout both lockdowns and the gap we had between, it was really a good time to help other people how I got through it. So I thought that's the best way of doing it. There's no money involved, and it creates a nice bridge between initially identifying yourself as having an issue and then waiting for the professional help that you might be able to get at the other end. So I thought it'd be a good idea to start something up to bridge that gap. Walking was my sort of tool, especially in lockdown when we couldn't meet anyone really, and that was helping me through the first lockdown. And then once we was able to be out a lot longer, I started to do longer walks, different environments, and definitely being out and about in the fresh air, it definitely helps. When you're doing your 9 to 5 or whatever the hours you're doing in your normal job, your mind's so focused just on that one thing. You go home, have your dinner, you watch TV, you go to sleep. So you're in that sort of cycle of life. And then all of a sudden, once that massive part is taken away from you, I think you start to have time to really think about the positives and the negatives maybe in your life at the time, and then that can really get people down, or that can really make people make a real positive change in their life as well. I think exercise has been proven anyway to help people who have any sort of mental health issues, because it releases obviously endorphins that make you feel good about yourself, and being out and about rather than in a gym for me would have helped, because it's nice being in a nice environment, a bit of fresh air as well, and it's a great way to have sort of an entry-level exercise. I think exercise to a lot of people, they think, oh, going to the gym for 5 hours a day or running marathons and stuff like that. It doesn't need to be that. You can go out for just even half an hour a day maybe, and I think that's the NHS guidelines as well, to go out for half an hour a day for some physical exercise anyway, and walking's the one that is the most accessible, it's free, and you can do it just as soon as you leave your house. The older generations are more man up, tuck them feelings away, don't worry about anything like that, just crack on and man up and stuff like that. And I think now, the generation we have now is a lot more open to talking about their feelings, and I think definitely having big celebrities come out like Tyson Furies and stuff like that, you can be a macho man, I guess, and a fighter, and still be attached to your feelings. The reception to the group has been overwhelming, to be fair. It's been really good in the local community. When I first ever started it was just going to be a matter of me just doing videos, walking around, talking about issues and ways you can get through it, and then potentially having one-to-one walks with people that's come out the other side of being in a dark place, and just showing their management techniques for how they're dealing with it. But then it turned out to be a small walk and talk group now with local people, with the help of social media. The NHS is quite strained at the moment, so I think the waiting times are quite long. So I feel like groups like mine are creating a nice bridge between identifying you've got an issue to then getting that professional help, rather than just waiting in between. So you can have that pressure release by talking to people. Once you feel you've got to that point where you need help, that's the perfect opportunity now to reach out. It's so important that you reach out to professional services to get that support. There's plenty of it out there. It might be slightly, you have to wait a little bit, but then you can also, once you've done that, reach out to groups like myself where you can get out, you can walk, you can talk, and you can get things off your chest.